Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We are thrilled to have Cavallo join us today and help us understand if we're leaving money on the table. That's really the goal of this call. And we've had a chance to work with them before. Really great group. And especially if you're using Business Central, if you are currently on GP and entertaining the thought of moving to Business Central, this is certainly a presentation you will not want to miss. So if you wouldn't mind maybe moving to the next slide, we'll do some quick introductions and then I'll hand it off to the team. So just on our side real quick, so we have Jonathan Kroll, who is our product lead with us. I'm Andrew Tusky. My beard has gotten a little longer since that picture was taken, maybe a day or two older since then too. But I am our account executive, so if you are entertaining Business Central as an option, please feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will turn it over to our friends, Matt and Jeff.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, and we enjoy the partnership with sa.global and this opportunity to talk about Business Central and ensuring that customers have the opportunity to leverage the best order management platform for Business Central, very much focused on product-oriented businesses, distributors, light manufacturers, brands that leverage quite a bit of e-commerce in their business. And we're bringing forward a platform that we're extremely proud of. You see here a very, very easy to use interface that is no code and allows companies to adopt a best of breed solution very, very quickly. I'll talk a little bit about also our history on the next page here. We have been in the business since 2003. We're actually celebrating our 20-year anniversary. The company was formed by a distributor who had invested in Dynamics GP to run his business and recognized that there were many opportunities to improve the profitability of his business, to grow very rapidly. And over the past 20 years, with that sort of framework in mind and that orientation on value, we've grown tremendously, serving over 1,000 companies, over 20,000 users. And with that focus on value, we have a tremendously high retention rate as well as customer satisfaction. So Net Promoter Score is a form of customer satisfaction, and 96 is world-class. In the background here, you see a number of companies. As I've alluded to, our business is typically focused on those product-oriented companies, and increasingly, we've been helping companies that are, in fact, omni-channel in nature, helping them expand the channels by which they sell products. And increasingly, as you can imagine, we've been helping these companies make the move to Business Central. As we move forward to the next slide, I've talked a little bit about the types of companies that we serve, those that are product-based and omni-channel. We typically focus on SMBs, so small and medium-sized businesses, typically in the $5 to $50 million revenue range to start. But certainly, we've helped companies that are much larger than that, and we've helped companies start small and get big and become a heck of a lot more profitable. And so we serve those companies that are change-oriented. They want to make more money. They want to grow their business. They want to be more efficient. And therefore, when you think about the types of buyers, folks within the companies that really are enamored by our solutions, there are a number of constituents that we help. Owners of businesses, the senior leadership absolutely love the fact that we can help them grow the bottom line. Sales leaders with an eye on revenue like the fact that our software helps companies become quite a bit more efficient in entering and processing orders, and therefore love our ability to help them grow the top line. Operations leaders always striving to be more efficient, love the fact that our software is packed with automation that drives out labor-intensive process steps and can help them do more with less. A great quote that we often hear from customers is that looking in the rearview mirror, they quite often say, gosh, we started working with you guys 4 or 5 years ago. We've doubled, tripled, sometimes quadrupled our revenue, and we haven't had to hire more team members because you've helped us become so much more efficient. And finally, from a technology perspective, IT leaders love the fact that we integrate so quickly and easily with Business Central and bring forth quite a bit of simplicity as it pertains to the tech stack. Some of the problems that we solved, getting into a little bit more of the specificity, the companies that we serve typically are either already big or want to be big, and therefore they're typically complex, often bringing forth thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of products, to market, serving thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of customers. And so there are many orders and there's quite a bit of complexity that they're trying to manage. And therefore, it's really hard for these companies to manage the profitability on every order. And so quite often the companies we serve know that they're allowing a number of bad orders to move through the business every day, but don't have the tools to do something about it. We solve things like that every single day, bringing forth that control over margin that lets companies make a lot more money very easily. Closing the deal in real time relies upon very clear understanding of what inventory a company has available to sell. And therefore, we provide tools that sharpen the focus on inventory availability and make it very clear what is available at any moment. Order efficiency, tremendously efficient with Cavallo products. In the upper right, quite often when companies are expanding, they're adding a warehouse, they're adding product lines, adding different types of customers, maybe making an acquisition, adding an e-commerce channel. They need flexibility of workflows, and we bring a tremendously flexible yet robust and speedy workflow engine that Jeff's going to show very soon. And finally, it's often very important for companies to ensure that they're selling products or allocating inventory to companies that are paying on time, that are the good customers. And so we bring forth AR information, very valuable customer data to the forefront, so sales reps, customer service reps can make the right decisions about processing an order and prioritizing inventory. On the next slide here is a great example from one of our customers, Toolmatics, who has applied and adopted our products. And while already happy with Business Central, they saw a dramatic increase in the visibility of all the orders flowing through Business Central, as well as the order profitability. And now they are catching orders that are low margin. They used to go through. Now they're catching them. They're able to adjust pricing, renegotiate with customers before committing, with that 100% process visibility that allows them to be more profitable. On the next slide here, a quick view of our product footprint with the customer to cash cycle as a backdrop. Our order management dashboard that Jeff's about to show is a complete end-to-end view of all the orders, invoices, returns, quotes moving through your business, and therefore allows your company to be on the same page, all departments singing from the same song sheet, and knowing if there are bottlenecks forming, knowing where the good orders are, the not so good orders are, and allowing you to do something differently about it. The order management workflow is that engine, the no-code engine that allows companies to build a very robust process with a lot of automation that helps to speed up the flow of orders, reduce errors, and increase profitability. In the lower left, you see some of the capabilities that are specific to companies that do have a decent amount of their orders still sort of processed manually, having to do customer management, customer lookup, order entry with sales reps, customer service reps, but wanting to do that in a much more efficient fashion. Lower right corner, credit card processing, payment processing, obviously very critical to take payments in real time, ensure that that is, of course, fully PCI compliant and moving in real time, driven by automation. Finally, in the middle of the page, you see capabilities such as warehouse management and shipping. Just want to point out the fact that we don't provide those capabilities, but importantly, we work extremely well with ISVs that do bring those capabilities to market, because we integrate so flexibly with BC that we work extremely well with those other ISVs, making it very easy to leverage any or all of the Cavallo modules that you see here on the page. And with that, I will turn it over to Jeff Houts, our Senior Account Executive, to share the software and, of course, share specific use cases that prove valuable to customers on a daily basis. Jeff?
All right. Thank you, Matt. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Andrew, for the introduction as well. And thank you all for joining us today. Happy to show you what we have here with our Cavallo solutions for Business Central. I'm going to start with our order management workflow. Matt talked about this a little bit here. This would be where you could gain 100% control of all the orders moving through your workflow, and can ensure things like profitability, that orders aren't overly discounted. Really put the guardrails around your business so that you can process every single order exactly the way that you want to every single time. Here I have a pretty basic workflow set up. So I've got a 5-step workflow for my orders. Here I'm moving my orders from a new order to an invoice status, and then I have some alternate paths set up in between. So worth mentioning that even though this is really simplistic, I do have a lot of automation set up here to really streamline the order process, and have a couple business rules and automations, automatic actions set up to move orders automatically for me as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my new order queue here. So I'm going to go ahead and click the drop down. Here I have my primary path, moving orders from a new order to my picking queue. So if all my conditions are met, the only place that I could submit this would be to picking. And then from there, there's some automation that happens. I do have a scenario set up that's just one alternate path. So here, if my document status has a backordered or partially backordered status, the only place that my orders can move is to my backorder queue for backorder management there. Just to take that a step further, if I click my backorder queue here, I have some actions triggered upon entering this queue. So I can create a purchase order automatically for the backordered quantity, and I can email that purchase order as well. So here I have it set to email to myself for demo purposes. You could select the vendor here if you wanted, if you had that identified. I'm gonna go ahead and close that. Then my picking queue. So if I do have an order, it moves from new order to picking. I have 5 different automations set up here. I'm allocating all my inventory, authorizing a credit card payment, creating a pick document, sending that pick instruction. Again, that's to me, but likely this would be a warehouse manager, someone of that sort. And then here I'm reopening that document as well for editing purposes. And then just to quickly kind of round out what I've got set up here, and this really only took me probably about 10 minutes to set up, and I'm not super tech savvy, so this would be considered more of an admin function. But again, really easy to do, very user-friendly, very simple to set up a workflow and gain the power of these automations. So here, my actions upon entering my ready to invoice queue are actually then capturing the credit card payment for the balance, creating a shipment document, and then from there, I can invoice my order out. So I actually transfer it from an order to an invoice, and that really kind of rounds out the process that I have set up here. I'll demonstrate creating an order, submitting it to the picking queue here in just a moment to show just how fast all those steps really take place, and really a limited number of clicks to do so. And then here on the right, want to show some of the power that we do give with our business rule logic. So Matt had mentioned ensuring things like profitability. Here we're able to do that with a gross margin check. So I have a couple business rules. One set is a discount threshold, another gross margin check. Our users so far have really loved the ability to evaluate all their queues at any point in time to ensure that they're getting the most out of every single order. So here I'm evaluating any of the line items for my orders where the margin percent is less than 10%. I'm evaluating all those queues, and then I'm submitting that here to myself for approval, but likely to be a manager there, and you could select multiple approvers as well. We've also recently added the capability to email. So If this rule is broken, that order goes to manager approval. We can send an email here by clicking the toggle to send the manager an email that a rule's been broken. They need to go ahead and take a look at that order. We also have the ability to then email the submitter after the document's been reviewed. So I'm a sales rep. I've applied too much of a discount, potentially submitted an order for approval. I would get an email whether that's approved or not. So Matt says, nope, Jeff, not this time. I can't offer that discount. Then he can reject that, and I would get an email knowing that I need to fix my order in order to move it forward in my workflow. So just a couple, business rules set up here. You can stack these conditions one on top of the other, again, really allowing you to put those guardrails. A lot of time we use the analogy of a Plinko board to ensure you got orders coming in the top, orders coming out the bottom. You really want them to flow a specific way and to ensure things like profitability. Taking a look at automatic actions here, I did set one up, and this is pertaining to back orders as well in that scenario. So if I did have an order that was back ordered, it goes to my back order queue for back order management there. I've set up an automation where I want to forward my back order documents to my picking queue when the status is then not back ordered or partially back ordered. So if inventory is received, it's applied to those orders, we can automatically forward them using automation to the next logical queue in mind that would be the ready to invoice queue here. So really easy to set this up, really easy to set up automation, business rules. Again, everything that you see that I have here took me less than 10 minutes to set up. If you did want to add new queues, it's easy to add, give them a name, a description. If you wanted to edit the names of these queues, again, really easy to do that too. So if I did want to update, really easy to do that here. Update, publish, and then you're off and running. So really simple, really user-friendly. Again, giving you 100% control over all the orders flowing through your business.
So Jeff, who typically is setting these rules up in an organization?
Yeah, I would say it is more of an admin function. So someone, maybe in operations, someone has, kind of that management level title where they're really wanting to gain that control over those orders, and they know how they want the orders to flow through their business. So I would say, a manager level, operations level individual. Matt, anything there that you would add?
I would say that in the early stages of the process, when you're in the new order step, quite often also the senior leaders in sales will want to add steps if there are approvals or routings that the sales team wants to make sure they're aligned around. And so by building a cohesive process that really brings sales and operations together, it's a great opportunity for companies to make sure they're fully aligned and have that have the visibility that you'll see in a moment. But it is quite often someone with just a little bit of that administrative role that can actually be responsible for maintaining this. As you've seen, it's very easy, but it is more of those senior leaders around sales and operations that are deciding how they want the process to run.
Great.
All right. So where the order management workflow would give one 100% control of their operations, order management dashboard then gives 100% visibility of where quotes, orders, invoices, and returns stand at any point in time throughout the business. So here I have selected my order workflow. So here at the top, we give a 1,000-foot view of our quotes, orders, invoice, and return workflows. I've got my order workflow selected, and here you can see that at the bottom, I've got all my queues selected that I had just set up with my order management workflow. So My flow is from new order to invoiced, and upon clicking these queues, I get greater insight into what's going on with them. So I'll populate a couple queues here. Again, you will get greater detail on these orders, so I can see my document number, the customer associated with that order, the document date, the true status of this order. So I can see this specific order is released currently, but also that it's allocated, it's fully paid, it has an open pick, open ship, and this one, this order had an open PO that's been associated with it. I can see any related documents. So I'd kind of show this in workflow. We can automatically generate POs. Those are linked to sales orders, so that can happen automatically, and the generation of that purchase order is then happening in Business Central, as well as the pick and ship here too. So we do get visibility into that. And then product details. So you can see I've got 2 Athens desks on this order, the price and the total, and then throughout our solution, we're giving great visibility into gross margin. So you can see my health, my order is really good. Everything's in the green here that are in my workflow. Here at the top, then you can see a couple orders in the red. I've got a couple orders breaking that business rule that I had shown for gross margin. So it's less than 10%. You can see these are both -9, -22%, obviously not good. They're in the red. And this is definitely one area where, we were on site with a customer, founder and president. We popped this screen open after we had installed. They start seeing their orders. They instantly get visibility because we've set up that gross margin check to see, okay, I've got these orders. There's definitely something wrong with them. That one's red. What does that mean right there? We have the ability, if we need to here, to pull in things like sales rep. So, if we wanted to, we could show, okay, who's the sales rep on these orders? He knew, it wasn't Jim Olive, but he knew the guy. And he said, I know that sales rep. I'm going to go talk to him. We'll get this straightened out right now. So they definitely use this as a QA check. In the very beginning, they actually apply this to quotes, not just orders, and they can't move a quote to an order in their system if it's not meeting their profitability requirements. So just one way that, gaining that business rule capability and applying it and getting the visibility here within the dashboard really helps businesses improve their gross margin. So I added the sales rep there. It's really easy to add columns. So if I wanted to select anything else, quickly check, apply, it brings it in. Let's say I wanted to change, remove the sales rep, quickly apply, and it's gone. So the screen's highly configurable. You can bring in more information. If you want it, you could pare down the queues that I've got selected here. So if I was just someone managing back orders, I could get rid of all the other queues, and all I'm seeing, throughout my day is the back order queue, and I'm just managing what's there. So really easy to configure what we have here set up in the screen. To get into approvals just a little bit more in detail here, I'm going to go ahead and select one of my orders that's breaking my gross margin business rule, just to show you kind of what these would look like. So this is our order entry screen here that I'm viewing. You can see I've got the status gross margin check. I hover over the tool here. It shows me approval needed for orders less than 10%. That's the condition being broken. And then I do have the ability to approve or reject. So if I did go ahead and approve this order, I could add details, it's okay this time, approve. It's going to move that order forward in my workflow to the next logical step. So if all my other conditions are met, which I know they are, because I'm only breaking one rule here, this would move to my picking queue and still follow all of the workflow automation that I have set up. If I reject it, please fix and reject, this would move back into the new order queue. And again, you can set up email notifications to the person that submitted so that they can update that order. So just to highlight some of our approval capabilities there within the workflow and dashboard. So now what I'd like to do is transition into our customer management tool, highlight the visibility that we give with customers, and then I'll start an order from there. I like to process an order to show you just how fast order entry can be in Cavallo. And then I'll show some of the tools that we give, functionality that we've added to BC as well. So I'm going to jump into customer here. We bring a lot of information into one screen. So for CSRs or account managers, anybody that's managing customers, taking calls from customers, wanting more information on document status. Again, we give great detail into that. Order history. If they want to know like what products they've purchased in the past, at what price. If they wanted to reference that, they certainly could. You can see posted invoices, archived documents. You can quickly add notes for customers here. So this was really important for one customer that we're working with, that they wanted to be able to leave notes in case someone was off. So the person filling in knew what was going on with that customer. You can add those here. These can be applied to orders. They can be visible or not visible to the end customer as well. And then we can manage addresses, quickly add new addresses, multiple addresses, as well as contact information. And then really want to highlight the ability to manage a customer's wallet here. So if you were integrating your payments with us through Notice Pay Fabric, you could manage the customer's wallet here. And as I've shown in my workflow, I have that set up right now to authorize and capture a credit card payment automatically. So that's something that we're able to do here as well. I'm going to go ahead and create a new order from the customer management screen here. So as I'm working with the data, I've taken a call, they want to place a new order. Nice that I can do that right from the customer management screen. It's going to pre-populate a bunch of information that I've already got set up for this customer on the order entry screen. So really easy to use here. I've got all my document details, the billing, the shipping information. As I add product to this order, it'll update my summary here. So I'll go ahead and add my products and submit my order just to show you how fast that this can happen. So, and then I'll walk through kind of the order entry screen itself. So I'm going to update my quantity. As I do that, you'll see that my summary is updated. Because all my conditions are met here, I can submit this order to picking. And by doing that, then just one click, I am going to do all the automation that I had shown. So that was moved to picking, and here's my activity log. So I like to refer to it as a one-click to pick process. So I added my line item, I allocated all the inventory, authorized a credit card payment, created a pick document, sent an email report, which I should get here shortly with the pick instruction, and then reopen the document. So you can see here, I authorized the sale for the $2,100 there and sent the email report too. So if I did want to go ahead and submit to ready to invoice, more automation would take place here. Real quickly, just want to highlight the fact that I did get this email with the pick instruction and what that was for. So really easy to set up. Again, you saw how easy that is to do. And I'll go ahead and submit that to ready to invoice. So I'm two clicks through basically at this point. All this automation's taking place. This has taken me a minute so far. And even as I'm kind of describing what's happening, really like 2 minutes here, and my activity will update. So captured the credit card payment, created the ship document. I've now released this document so it is locked. And if I do submit this now to invoiced, it will transfer my order to an invoice and my order is gone. Before I do that, I do want to just reopen this order to show you a few things here on the order entry screen pertaining to this order. So you saw me add products here, the quantity. You can select the location and you can see inventory availability by location. Here is one place I did the open search. So we give great visibility into on-hand inventory availability, what's been allocated, what's then actually available to sell, and what's on back order. So you can see here, I have 147 desks, but I've allocated almost all of them. Probably time for me to order some more desks. And so I only have 2 available to sell. We also have an inventory drawer as well. So again, if you wanted to get that inventory visibility, you do get it here with our Cavallo inventory availability. And then you could multi-select here. And if I wanted to add multiple products to an order at one time, I could do that from here. Moving through the additional tabs on the order entry screen, kind of highlighted the activity tab here. Again, it took me 2 minutes to submit this order, basically all the way through my workflow. Again, where we, a really fit is kind of that quote to order to picking or fulfillment stage. And then we can recognize when that picking's been done and then submit to invoice and invoice those orders out. So that's really our sweet spot where we fit within the order process. Here I can see those internal notes again that I had put for this customer. You could make those visible or not, depending on what you wanted that to look like. Here I'll see my payments. So here's the capture of the credit card payment that I took for this order and the amount. I would see all my related documents here. So just by submitting that order through my workflow, I created the pick, the ship, and the shipment documents. If I did have a quote and moved it to an order, the quote would live here. And then if I invoice this document, if I submit to invoice, the invoice would live in these related documents as well. So a lot of great visibility into order information for sure. So if you're doing a lot of manual order entry, this would definitely be a good tool to use for sure. Really streamlining the order entry process, and by leveraging workflow can enable a lot of automation to move orders through your workflow in a very efficient way. So I went ahead and populated this order in Business Central just so you can get view of what that looks like. So want to call out some of the additions that we've added to Business Central as well. So here I have my status. So you saw that I opened this document. So I can show you a few things that's here, but we give greater visibility into workflow queues. So this is a Cavallo workflow queue here. You can see this order is in my ready to invoice queue. And then here on the actions tab, we've also got the ability to submit this order, and it would just be like submitting the order in Cavallo. So if you have a new order, you press submit, it's going to follow all those same workflow actions. So for companies that maybe don't do as much manual order entry, they're more e-commerce focused, they're getting their orders through an e-commerce platform, Amazon, etc. They could still have that set up, get those orders into Business Central, and still leverage our workflow against them without using order entry. So this is just an example of how they might do that. We've also added our inventory visibility into Business Central, so you can see Cavallo quantities available. I kind of showed this earlier, but truly there's only 2. I've allocated almost all my desks to orders at this point in time, and you can see if there's anything on back order as well. If I kind of go out to the sales order screen here in Business Central, just want to highlight again, our workflow queue is available here now on this screen. So before, where one might just have, if a document's open or released, and not really understanding, the state of that order or the stage that it's in, you can now filter by that workflow queue. So if I go ahead and select the filter, my workflow queue, and I do want to see everything in my picking queue, I can quickly filter down and see where orders are. So again, if someone's not using order entry, they don't necessarily need that capability because they're more e-commerce focused, or getting their orders into Business Central another way rather than manually entering them. There's a lot of Cavallo capabilities that we've added to BC that they can leverage our workflow against for sure. I'm going to jump back over into Cavallo here just to kind of round out the full suite of products that we offer and highlight a couple more things here. We do have a couple additional tabs here at the top. So outside of customer management, we do give visibility into all the documents that you have in your business. So if you did want to search for a specific document number or customer name, you can search by multiple things here to get down to document level information. Again, we're showing true status of orders throughout. You can see the related documents really quickly here and any products that might be associated to the order. And then again, great visibility into gross margin. And then on the products, we do give, again, visibility, additional visibility and inventory availability throughout. So I can click on my Athens desk here, open up my product card. I can see all of the open documents related to this product. I can get the inventory availability. I can see any archived documents and any posted invoices as well. So really quickly getting that archived information has been really beneficial for one of our customers. So I have my environment to set up to archive anytime I move a quote to an order to an invoice, so I can quickly get that historical data as well on those products.
So Jeff, quick question, just as it relates to the full suite of tools here. I mean, do we, as a customer, do they need to buy the full suite of products in order to use everything, or can they kind of piece together the parts that make sense for them?
Yeah, it's a great question. So customer can definitely piece together the parts that make the most sense for them. So if someone was looking to just leverage workflow for those automation capabilities and applying business rule logic to their order operations, they could do that and get the visibility if they want with dashboard, the dashboard here that I'm showing. They don't necessarily need to buy everything together. So again, for those that are more omni-channel focused, maybe have a more of an e-com presence where they're not manually entering orders, they don't necessarily need order entry. They don't have to purchase that. They could purchase those things separately for sure. So it's really up to the customer, really up to how they're using Business Central and how they're getting their orders either into BC or entering them into BC as well.
Perfect. So yeah, I remember you mentioning at the beginning of the call that this product's really meant for companies that are looking to grow, and it seems like the product is built specifically with that philosophy in mind. So great to hear.
Yeah. Yep. I would say so as well. Definitely scalable solution. We have customers, so far, some that have chosen to move forward with our entire suite. Others have chose to, piece the solution together kind of as they see fit. So some starting, pretty much with just setting up a basic workflow, just jumping back over into that. And then here setting up a business rule or two just to gain visibility of things like gross margin. Where that they can start to see which orders they have in their workflow here that are profitable and which ones that aren't. Just getting that visibility, right at the beginning of their process has been extremely important. So, it's really up to the customer and really up to kind of where they're at in the state of their business.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah. Yep. I'll go ahead and pause my share here. And I know we wanted to leave some time for Q&A.
So another question that I had is how long does it take typically to get live? So maybe walk through the process of kind of how you work with your customers to establish what they need, and then of course all the way through getting them to go live.
I can take that one, and Jeff, of course, feel free to chime in. So it can be quite quick. As Jeff said, there are some of our customers that really do want to take that initial bite of the apple, if you will, and apply a short list of automations and workflow rules, and they can get started, very quickly and start to see value. What we see is typically the longer projects, which still can be, a month or two in scope and scale, would be those ones where, as I was describing earlier, departments coming together to define their process and set up a more complex workflow. Our workflow engine is very easy to set up, but there's typically the time that maybe at a whiteboard or a virtual whiteboard where companies are really determining what should our processes be, how would we want our departments to work together in the best way, and therefore there's a little bit of that workshop time that typically really is that long pole in the tent, but it can be quite quick, and we're valuable for companies that are already running Business Central and want to be better, or for companies that are on the path to Business Central and looking forward to a very robust order management set of capabilities. So we can serve companies really wherever they are in that journey.
Excellent. And I guess to that point, are there certain industries that you tend to work with, or ones that ones that it may be more suited for?
Absolutely. As I mentioned, we are coming from a distribution history and DNA, and so the types of orders that we work with, the types of problems that we solve, typically are oriented around those product-based businesses. So distributors, whether they have their own warehouses or whether they're working, in more of a drop ship type business model, or light manufacturers that may be doing some assembly and even some of their own manufacturing, but still sort of distributing quite a bit of product across a number of customers, or those companies that really would describe themselves more as brands or more e-tail type companies, but still, pick, packing, and shipping a lot of product, particularly if they're complicated in nature or high value products that, 5% gross margin this way or that way really matters. We add tremendous value to those types of companies.
Awesome. And this may be maybe a little bit coming directly from me, but when we think about setting up Business Central and sort of where they're at in their maturity, where do you see Cavallo making an impact? Is it as we're setting up Business Central, if they've had some time to play around with it, where typically do you guys see yourself come in?
Sure, good question. For those companies that are on the path, so they've decided we're moving to Business Central, we're going to adopt Business Central, we typically are involved very early. There's usually a handful of ISVs, a very short list that are involved right away, which we're typically involved with because workflow is so fundamental to companies running efficiently, and therefore, that provides a couple benefits. As you've seen, our workflow engine is extremely easy to set up, and so therefore we can really accelerate Business Central deployments because there isn't as much that may have to be built in a bespoke way, because we provide so much automation and so much business logic out of the box that companies can get there a lot faster. And so therefore, as a great partner of a lot of wonderful companies, you can really sort of accelerate their path to Business Central and reduce the risk because there's less sort of custom or bespoke development that needs to be maintained. It's all coming from you know, an ISV that's been in the ecosystem for 20 years and is accustomed to sort of managing and expanding the capabilities over time.
Excellent, excellent. And I think last question we got for you: if customers want to see more, how do they get in touch with that?
Well, thank you. And first of all, on this page, certainly feel free to visit our AppSource listings. We have the 6 modules that we showed earlier on AppSource, and you're also, you know, more than welcome to reach out to either of us, myself, Matt Abbott, or Jeff Houts. I think that may be on the next slide. But you know, feel free to contact us directly. We're always welcome to you know, talk with anyone that wants to learn more, demo the product as much as you like, but really appreciate this opportunity to collaborate and welcome any questions that folks who attended today may have.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I think that is it on our end, unless you have any final thoughts that you may want to share.
I think that's it. I just wanted to say thank you very much, Andrew, Jonathan, the whole SA Global team, wonderful to work with, and thank you for everyone who attended today. We appreciate it.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you guys. Really appreciate your time as well, and everybody who joined. And like I mentioned, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to Matt or Jeff. And Jonathan and I are always around too, but I think those guys tend to probably know a lot more about Cavallo. So
Great.
But everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great Thursday.